The Amazing Spider-Man, directed by Mark Webb. Sorry, I still can't get over that. Okay, so we all know the story. High school nerd gets bitten by a radioactive spider and becomes a superhero. We've seen this movie before, but this movie does put enough of a spin on things to surprise us in some ways. For one, Peter Parker actually has parents in this. Now, the question everyone is asking is, does this movie justify its existence considering that we already have a Spider-Man trilogy? For the most part, I think this is superior to 2002 Spider-Man in that The Amazing Spider-Man is a solid superhero movie in its own right. From its pacing to its flashiness to just how it completely does familiar things differently to how much you end up caring about the characters, it's just better. Now, if that said, Spider-Man isn't as fresh and mind-blowing as he was 10 years ago, even though the movie does do a good job to distinguish itself from its previous movies, it still hits the beats of your average superhero movie that we've all come to expect. I would say that this has the most in common with Batman Begins, a guy who loses his parents at a young age and takes it upon himself to help a city while endangering those most close to him. And the sad part is you like these characters so much and the actors portraying them. So for those of us that knows what's coming up in later movies, we know how depressing that third movie will be. Andrew Garfield of Social Network fame plays Peter Parker this time around, and even though he's 30 years old and British, I bought him as an American high school teenager. Instead of Mary Jane Watson, we get Gwen Stacy, played by a blonde Emma Stone, who's also pretty great in the movie, and of course our inevitable villain, played by Ivan Reis, who's a scientist with one arm and eventually turns himself into a giant lizard. And the lizard isn't the overarching conflict of the movie. Peter's still dealing with the issues around his parents, and Oscorp remains a pretty important figure this time around. That's something that they'll definitely delve into further in the sequels. Now, even though I had some issues with the original 2002 Spider-Man, they did a couple of things so well back then that I couldn't help but think about it while I was watching this. And I know people hate the comparison, but it was not that long ago, so you can't help but look back on it. Sally Field tries her best playing Aunt May, but no one is replacing Rosemary Harris. And God forbid they actually try to tackle J. Jonah Jameson in one of the sequels. But I think Martin Sheen still did a decent job as Uncle Ben. But for all the familiarity of the plot, I still think they did enough different in this. They made Spider-Man kind of a dick when he fights street thugs. They made Flash Thompson, the school bully, surprisingly likable. That was honestly the biggest surprise to me. They added Spider-Man's web slingers, though I'm still not sure how those were supposed to work exactly. And of course the 3D is new for the series, but I ended up seeing it in 2D, so I can't comment much on that. What you're getting here is a solid, somewhat by-the-numbers superhero movie. You like the actors portraying their characters, you understand their conflicts by the end, and you feel for them. And it's freaking Spider-Man, you gotta root for him. The dude takes a lot of crap and keeps on going. The movie isn't perfect. There were some off moments like the construction crew towards the end, and those awkward 20 seconds on the movie decided to impersonate a classic pre-80s horror film right before the climax. But hey, that wasn't enough to ruin the movie, and it contains one of the better Stan Lee cameos. The Amazing Spider-Man is totally worth seeing in theaters, and I look forward to the sequel, and I'm going to let some friends take it from here.
It's recording.
What am I supposed to start off with?
You have to ask your questions.
Yeah.
Your thoughts on the movie in 30 seconds.
Okay, I liked the movie, and I liked the part where he fell after he was like tased, and then you get that like really nice shot of his butt. There you go.
She's got a point.
I did notice that as well.
It was a very gratuitous action.
Do you
think it was real though?
do you want me to put this?
That's why.
Do you actually want me to put you saying that on my video?
Yeah.
It was completely gratuitous.
Can I do one now too? You gotta tell me.
Now it is.
I like the movie, and I like the part where after he gets tased, he falls down on the ground. You get a really good scene of his butt.
Do you want me to put that on my video?
I want you to compile them into a montage of everyone saying they like his ass.
You do, Joe.
If you like this review and you want to see more, please subscribe. I'd really appreciate it.